Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to another segment of the MCR Mac and Me. My name's TJ, and in this segment, I'd kind of like to discuss the situation involving Steve Bannon. And by the time this segment airs, it'll be highly likely that he will have reported for a 4-month prison sentence. He's to report to prison July 1st. What's he going to prison for? Contempt of Congress. You know, and you think about this, and I'm gonna work myself up into a frenzy. You got a gaggle of liars, cheats, inside traders, and they're going to put a guy in prison for 4 months because he deigned to not play their game, you know?
Right.
And it just, when you think of the very group that is doing this to him, it's just I've got to go into one of my Zen modes because it just fires me right up. He's going to prison for something that their own people have done before. You know, Eric Holder, Obama's AG, he was held in contempt of Congress. Oh, nothing happened to him. You know,
Well, I got to wonder if they don't claim immunity, which they say Trump doesn't have. No one is above the law. Well, they clearly are.
Well, and now Merrick Garland's. I don't know how much of a thicket this really is, but you know, they want the actual video of Joe Biden being deposed by that special counsel guy. I think his name was Hugh or something. I forget his name.
Robert Hur, I believe.
Yeah. But they say, "We have the transcript," and then they turn around and say, "Yeah, we doctored the transcript." But
you know,
you can't
damn well
have the
they
video.
have the transcript.
You know,
that's how it's done.
But you know, there's a Republican representative out of Florida's 13th district, female, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, Hispanic, and she of course this has to be put to a vote, but she wants to hold Merrick Garland, and the term is inherent contempt of Congress. The odds are I don't think she's going to get the votes, however the votes are held. But it'd be sure nice if she did get the votes, and then the way I understand it, the sergeant at arms takes Attorney General Garland into custody and brings him before the House.
Well, here's the question: Will they?
Well,
even if they get ordered, will they?
Here's the thing: going to the point of this segment, we need to be as ruthless as them.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but think about this. Let's say you're the sergeant at arms, and I don't know who that person is off the top of my head, but let's say you're the sergeant of arms. Do you want the FBI, the CIA, and the rest of the alphabet crew after you and your family? Because I'm sure it's implied, hey, bud, you do this, and that everything in your life is going to become public.
Well, they are a member. They are, you know, the House is half of the 1/3 of equal branches of government now, you know.
Half of 1/3?
Okay. Half of 1/3 of the equal branches of government.
Right.
So,
which is a concept lost on Miss Ocasio-Cortez of New York.
Exactly. And the reason why all this came to my mind was I listened to Megyn Kelly's podcast last Friday, in which she interviewed Steve Bannon, and he was going to do one final. Well, what's he call his podcasts? The War Room or something. He was going to do one more of those prior to his reporting for his prison sentence. But in speaking with Megyn Kelly, he just said, "Oh, we've got to become as ruthless as them," and until his belief is there's only one way to make this stop. It has to stop. what they're doing has to stop. And there's only one way to stop it. We have to be as ruthless as them. And
Well,
until
I can't wait for the judge to sentence Trump to prison. Not because I think he belongs in prison, but I'm hoping it'll be a major wake-up call for these people who don't know the depths of their insidiousness. They will put him in prison.
And here's the thing. And this is anything but a done deal, and I'll confess this is wishful thinking. But should Trump win this November, who do we decide to put into prison? Who do we decide to charge? And I'll tell you right now, I got a list of people here, and we don't even have to trump up any charges. You know, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, Hillary Clinton with her Pee-wee tape hoax, destroying of evidence, taking hammers to those Blackberries or whatever they used back then. You know, destroying evidence. You know, she's never been held to that's been given a complete pass. Adam Schiff with his whole "we have evidence" and then produces none. You know, is that not election interference?
It most certainly was.
You know what?
You can talk about he is the master of disinformation, which they're so against.
And you know, Eric Swalwell with his ding-a-ling and ling-ling or whatever, Fang, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
You know, sleeping with the enemy. You know, and something that's been bothering me for the last few months.
The late Dianne Feinstein had a Chinese spy driving for her.
Exactly. Where's the Me Too movement with Biden and his showering arrangements with his pre-teenage daughter?
And the number of women who have been made very uncomfortable by his groping them, which maybe it was all fake and we really didn't see it. But I've seen a number of videos of him groping minors and women who clearly look very uncomfortable with his groping and snipping them like the pervert pedophile that he is.
Yeah, you know, I'm compelled to mention Ilhan Omar marrying her brother to skirt around immigration laws. Okay.
Not to mention the numerous accusations that need to be looked into and examined. And here's the problem. It's a little private club, and they're not going to go after their own. Not that the Republicans have ever had the spine to do it since Joseph McCarthy, I'd tell you, who went too far. But he was right about everything.
One last name I'd like to throw into the mix here. Jamal Bowman pulling the alarm to disrupt a congressional vote.
Well, he got primaried out, you heard, right?
Yes, he's but you know what? Is that guy going to see the inside of any bars here? Nope. You know
because you know what? If you and I did that at any place, let's say I went to my church and did that, I mean, it'll at the very least going to get a heavy fine and an ass chewing from the judge. And you know what? If I got a habit of doing these kind of things, maybe I'm going to go to jail for 30 days.
Well, you know, they're putting the J6ers in prison for years because they dared to disrupt Congress. You know, this guy.
Let me go to a government proceeding. Was Justice Kavanaugh's confirmation not a government proceeding? It's required by the Constitution. So what about the people who stood up and screamed and had to be drug out of there or attacked, I forget which congressperson it was, in the elevator? What about those people? Did any of those people go to jail?
Anyways, back to my earlier statement. The only way to make this insanity stop is we're going to have to get ruthless. We will have to employ the same ruthless tactics the Democrats do. And, you know, most Republicans, I mean, I hate to say this, and this is why I have to hold my nose when I vote Republican, but a lot of Republicans don't have the stomach for this fight, you know?
No, they don't understand. They just keep thinking, and this is typical, they keep running and begging likeness of people who are always going to hate you no matter what you do. You can never satisfy them, and you know who these people are. Yet they pander to them anyway. You know, let me kiss your ass a little more, and maybe now you'll like me. So
And then
that's
they
their
get all,
mindset. They keep doing that, and they just keep thinking these people who hate us are somehow going to like us if we were just nicer.
yeah, and then they get all upset because how dare we want to vote for a guy who's a brawler like Donald Trump? You know,
Or a
it just
convicted felon. Let me mention
yeah,
something here. This is on my mind for a long while now, ever since he got convicted. We could do a segment on this even in a little more depth. But who else has been convicted? How about all those black men that came up swinging on trees? Well, they had a trial. They were convicted. And you know what? They may not even have been the right black guy, just a black guy. Or how about the witches in Salem who had a trial and were executed, even though they weren't witches? So this idea that because you're convicted, I mean, how many times a day or a year do you hear a story of them letting somebody out of prison who was convicted that wasn't guilty because they didn't have a proper trial? And eventually, this is going to get appealed and it's going to get kicked out by the New York State Court of Appeals because they've already ruled on a similar case with Harvey Weinstein, who they did the same thing in the Trump trial. And the case is going to get kicked out based on that alone. I doubt they have the audacity to become so hypocritical about one case over another because they want to at least to appear to have integrity.
I'm content to associate myself with the outlaw president. That's what I'm calling him. In a few weeks here, we'll see what happens as far as punishment, if any, will be levied against us since he's been convicted. But you know what? I'm for the outlaw president. You know, I don't know if I'll put a bumper sticker on my car because I'm afraid it'll get vandalized. But
Oh, it would.
you
But the
know,
tolerant, people who are for free speech would smash up your car.
so that's all. That's all I got for this one. Any final thoughts?
No, I've had my rant.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you in the next segment. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.